Now, aside from politics, leading plane giants are heading to the International Paris Air Show in France to hunt out multi-million or even multi-billion-dollar deals. There are new mega deals from Airbus. Is this attracting investors' interest to major airlines and defense stocks?
Yeah, I can give you a little bit details about that, of course, as well, because right now, you mentioned it, the world's biggest air show is taking place right now in a little town right before Paris. Two topics very interesting today. Airbus announced that they're going to have another version of their mega jumbo, the Airbus 380, the world's biggest passenger jet. Airbus, when they basically established this plane, they had, lots of promises. They were going to say that this is going to be a plane that will be sold more than 700 times. Now what we're actually seeing is that they are not selling this airplane that often. It's mostly because it's a very big plane. It's not able to land in all airports. Also with 4 engines, it's really only possible to make this airplane fly, basically with profit, with mostly all passengers on board, basically fully booked. Now they announced that they will have an A380 Plus version, which is going to use less fuel and can carry even more passengers. So that's the news on that mega jumbo. On the other hand, we heard that Airbus was able, or is going to be able, to sign a mega deal with one of the biggest airlines in Peru. They're going to sell more than 30 planes of the Airbus 320, which is mostly a plane used for short-haul and mid-range flights. So this has been announced, and on the other hand, Boeing announced also today that they will have a longer version of their Boeing 737, which you can kind of compare with the Airbus 320 that I just mentioned. So yeah, lots of news happening there. And when you look at the share of Airbus, I was just checking it a few seconds ago, it's up right now with more than 2%.
Right, thank you very much, Daniel. We'll keep an eye on some of those deals that will come out from that air show. Enjoy the rest of the day. We'll move on now to the U.S. The stock index futures pointed to a strong higher open today as investors awaited remarks from leading Federal Reserve officials while keeping a close eye on news coming out of the political sphere. With little economic data due out today, market watchers will be on the lookout for any key statements made by 2 Fed presidents just days after the central bank decided to raise rates for the second time this year. Well, the numbers there are all in the green. Investors will also be on the lookout for any news out of the White House as the U.S. president meets with the president of Panama. On the data front, no major economic releases or earnings are due out today. However, 2 bills auctions will be taking place. In Asia, bourses strengthened today as markets geared up ahead of Brexit negotiations between the UK and the European Union and kept an eye on a deadly attack on worshippers leaving a mosque in London. Japan's benchmark Nikkei 225 index gained 0.62% and South Korea's Kospi edged higher by 0.38%. The Australian ASX 200 rose 0.54%. Markets in Greater China were in the green, with Hong Kong's Hang Seng index surging 1.11%. On the mainland, the Shanghai Composite added 0.7% and the Shenzhen Composite rose 0.57%. To commodities now, oil prices dipped today, weighed down by a continuing expansion in U.S. drilling that has helped to maintain high global supplies despite an OPEC-led initiative to cut production to tighten the market. Signs of faltering demand have also prompted weakening sentiment, dropping prices to levels comparable to when the output cuts were first announced late last year. Brent crude futures were down 13 cents at $47.24 per barrel. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures were down 15 cents at $44.49 per barrel. And precious metals now. Gold edged lower today to touch a near 4-week low as the dollar held firm with the market waiting on comments from a top U.S. Federal Reserve official after last week's soft economic data. Spot gold fell 0.12% to $1,252 per ounce. It hit a fresh low of $1,250 per ounce during the session, its lowest since May 24. U.S. gold futures for August delivery fell 0.2% to $1,254 an ounce. And back here in Nigeria are the fixed income markets. The central bank will, of course, offer about 133.25 billion naira at the Treasury bill auctions. That's this week. The DMO will also offer about 140 billion naira in bond auctions this week. Let's talk to a fixed income dealer with Access Bank, Ebenezer Alassi. Good afternoon, Ebenezer. Thank you very much for joining us on the program.
Good afternoon.
Right, it's a new week, and of course we have treasury bills and bond auctions are expected this week. How do you see the yield reacting to these auctions this week?
Okay, so first of all, the market has been a bit tight given the activities that the central bank carried out last week, which is the mopping up of liquidity via the stabilization securities they sold to banks. So, in the week, we've seen a bit of a sell-off on the treasury bill side, while the bond market hasn't been very active, but just a bit of sell-off here and there. So there hasn't been a lot of movement on that. So for the auction, given that the market is a bit tight right now, we expect that for the treasury bills, rates should inch up slightly. I mean, last auction, we saw increase across board on the 91, 182, and 364-day yields by about 10 basis point each. So we expect that we'll see an increase in the rates for the auctions for the treasury bill.
Now, in terms of market, in terms of market liquidity, what do you expect to see?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
In terms of market liquidity for this week, what do you expect to see?
All right. Okay, so for today, CBN had released those figures at 15 billion credit, and they've already carried out SMIS auction, and also we expect to continue to see OMO auction. There's been an OMO auction today. We're expecting the result of that. We expect another OMO auction tomorrow. I think the only day that there might not be OMO auction for the week would be Wednesday, given that there's bond auction and also treasury bill auction, which is the trend that we've seen over the past couple of weeks. They typically issue OMO every day except for the auction day. So would expect to see a decline in our market liquidity going into the week, given that they would also carry out another SMIS auction, most likely on Thursday. That's been the trend. Monday, Thursday, they usually carry out SMIS auctions. However, we expect a bit of respite on Thursday because of the maturity of the 22nd June maturity, which is about 152 billion credit.
Okay.
But then again, there's bond auction, which is 140 billion being offered.
Okay, thank you.
Market is expected to be tight.
All right, thank you very much for those updates, Ebenezer. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back in a moment.